having a good time with Zaka Balad there about his photograph. Well, pretty young there, but we decided to do that so that he can also remember his pretty good old days. Well, he's an engineer, petroleum expert, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you, and good morning, Nigeria.
Yeah, good morning. We've been talking about expectations for the incoming government. You have been in the industry, following it closely. And so many people have been talking about it leading up to this. By the way, it's 9 days to the swearing-in ceremony for the incoming administration.
Correct.
And we have seen not too good stories coming from the sector, especially for the ordinary Nigerian who just can't get fuel with ease. And some are already saying that it's the comment coming from the president-elect that is causing all of this. Well, perhaps you haven't seen the big news making front page that comment from the president-elect has caused is one of the reasons we're getting to see the scarcity of the commodity in the market. But if you were to look at the sector holistically, let's look at the sector and see what has been done so far by the Goodluck Jonathan administration and see if there are possible ways you would want to fashion out a blueprint for the incoming government to get a better stand.
Well, straight away, Suleiman, we have expectations, for the incoming government, and I will list them out. But we also have crises on our hands as we speak. For the outgoing regime dispensation of the president, I think one key achievement in the oil and gas industry was the effort to make sure we have the Local Content Act that has strongly created opportunities or opened opportunities for Nigerians with the requisite credentials and technical integrity to practice in the industry. Because as we were just discussing, I can tell you that manufacturing and fabrication has started. And that, as we speak, or we can say all these opportunities came because of the Local Content Act. But the Local Content Act on itself is predicated on the Petroleum Industry Bill. And that simply means if you do something about the Petroleum Industry Bill and pass it into act, right, then we're going to see a big bang. Today, the Local Content Act has an international acceptance and a local tolerance. Any model that has an international acceptance and a local tolerance, it's a good model. It's as straightforward as that. Unfortunately, the PIB has not been passed into law, right? We have crisis as we speak, and that has to do with subsidy. People have been talking about how much we lose to subsidy or whatever. But I can tell you as we speak, we need subsidy. I supported subsidy yesterday. I'm in support of subsidy now, and I'm likely to support subsidy tomorrow, depending on how it is being managed as a concept. Subsidy is a concept. The difference between countries or economies that succeed and economies that collapse is just in the simple management of subsidy. But I'm surprised people keep saying that we don't need subsidy, the subsidy should go. People say this without thinking through. When we sit down, we will say, all the OPEC nations, when you look at all the OPEC nations, it's only Nigeria that sells PMS or gasoline or whatever at higher rates without asking basic questions. The principle of fractional distillation is the same all over the world. It is based on temperature differential. The principle and technology of refining is the same all over. Then why must refined products be cheaper in other OPEC nations and they are not cheaper in Nigeria? The simple reason is just because of that subsidy concept, the way and manner it is being practically, right, implemented. That's just the difference.
You're talking subsidy concept. You've forgotten the role that the refineries play in the pricing of these products.
No, that's why we say subsidy on its own. You can call it a concept, you can call it a principle. It's the applications that makes the difference between my country, your country, and country Z.
Explain to us what the concept exactly is and how it's supposed to be applied.
First of all, what is the definition of subsidy? Subsidy simply means that differential that a given country needs to take off the citizen to lessen the burden and make sure the citizen of that country find it easy to survive and carry out their regular activities, and to make sure manufacturing or processing industries work. That's the general and broad definition of subsidy. And that simply means you can apply subsidy to the health sector. You can apply it to the manufacturing sector. But what we are seeing most of the time is just with the oil and gas sector. And that's why, and it's because the effect of activities within the oil and gas sector cuts across the strata of the economy.
Mr. Zaka, in 2012,
correct,
subsidy was announced removed. There were protests. And
partially removed.
Hold on, it was removed. There were protests on petrol products. PMS in particular, it was removed, and then there were protests, and it was partially restored. So there was a partial removal of subsidy. Now, when it was removed, the prices went up. When it was restored partially, the prices dropped, and then it dropped further again by 10 naira. What is the problem with what we have? Why is it not working?
It's a simple application, but before I go to that, I want to let you understand that as we speak today, the Nigerian economy is too weak, right? And the disposable income of an average Nigerian is too low for Nigerians to survive without subsidy. That is what you need to understand. I will explain what you're talking about.
No, the application. Why is it not working? What's wrong with the application?
The simple reason why it is not working is because we have what I can best describe as economic vampires that wouldn't want the economy to move forward. And for those on the political scenes, they are basically political pathogens. And let me explain subsidy to you, or why subsidy should work. You know, I've already told you that when you go to other OPEC countries or even other countries, PMS is cheaper there. But the principle is the same, right? We have forgotten, let me tell you why now it is not working in Nigeria. We have forgotten that we have a weak currency. You cannot expose us to, with minimum wage, an average minimum wage of less than $100 per month. You know that, and I know that 18,000 is less than $100. You cannot subject the citizens of any country whose average minimum wage is less than $100 to externalities of free market. And when we talk about externalities of free market, you are simply saying, okay, now you want to expose Nigerians, right, to be buying PMS based on the dictates of supply and demand and the price of PMS in the international market. It's completely wrong. What you need is simple internal refining. And when you want to internally refine, one unfortunate clause or punctuation for Nigerians is will had or learn that even if you want to have refineries in Nigeria, you are likely to buy the crude at international price.
So it goes back to the PIB.
Correct.
Because you say the passage would have unbundled some of these anomalies or these restrictions.
Yes. When you pass the PIB, right, you will see the need for likely activities or coming up with different kinds of activities that will positively or negatively affect the industry. And that simply means you can retain the refineries, right? You can privatize them, right? You can commercialize them, and you can liberalize them. And these terminologies mean different things technically to different people and to the practitioners and to the government.